Why everyone should pay attention to an attempted firing of one of America's central bankers.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Bitwarden Password Manager. This back-to-school season, a password manager can help students and teachers log in securely across all accounts and devices. Bitwarden.com. And by Mercury. Mercury brings together banking, credit cards, invoicing, and more to help entrepreneurs manage their finances. Learn more at Mercury.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. Based on unproven allegations, President Trump last evening moved to fire a governor of America's central bank, the Federal Reserve. The Fed governor, Lisa Cook, says the president does not have the authority to fire her and plans to stay on. In social media posts last week, Trump had claimed without evidence that there was fraud on a mortgage once taken out by Cook. One of the strengths of the U.S. financial system has been a central bank that is not beholden to the impulses of politicians. Karen Petru watches the Fed closely as founder of Federal Financial Analytics in Washington. Morning.
Good morning.
I want to ask you, do Federal Reserve governors like Lisa Cook serve at the pleasure of the President of the United States? Like, for instance, the President's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. The President could certainly fire that position, but what about a Fed governor?
No, the president cannot fire any member of the Federal Reserve Board at will. The only way the law allows the president to fire members of the Federal Reserve Board, including the chair, is for cause. And that means there has to be malfeasance or gross negligence for that to happen. The allegation here is that Lisa Cook committed mortgage fraud, but that is completely unproven, and therefore the extent to which there is cause is at best dubious.
And one would expect some sort of formal process to determine whether or not Lisa Cook is at fault in some way.
I like to think the United States, where you're innocent until proven guilty, even for cause allegations. What happened last week was there was an unproven allegation posted on Twitter by a government official. He called for a Justice Department criminal investigation. The next day, another official announced that he had found Ms. Cook guilty. Clearly, the day between an assertion posted on Twitter and the next day, when a Justice Department official says fire her, there is no investigation. There's no due process.
The overarching issue here, I think, is central bank independence. It sounds like an abstract topic for a high school debate competition. But why should my friend Jeff, a carpenter from Manchester, New Hampshire, or my Aunt Vicky, a nurse, why should they care?
First of all, I think we should all care about the integrity of the process. Congress intended the Federal Reserve to be insulated from politics because of the danger of political decision-making on so important an economic force. More importantly, Congress set up the Federal Reserve Board to be insulated from presidential authority because its independence is critical to credibility.
One can imagine, to pick up on your point there, that it would be of concern to market professionals if a standoff emerges at the Fed. The president saying, you're fired, Federal Reserve governor saying, I'm still here, whatever the next move is next by either side. This can start to look not like the United States, but what you sometimes see in other countries.
It can, and that's going to cost us all a lot, not just in those of us with funds in the stock market, not those of us looking to buy a house a little bit down the road. This is all really costly. But the dollar right now is the global reserve currency, and that floats the government's boat. Because the world trusts us, they give us their money and invest it in Treasury securities for a lot less than is demanded of higher risk countries. The president has just made us a higher risk country.
All right. We'll keep watching this. Karen Petru at Federal Financial Analytics based in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you.
At the moment, stock index futures are a little changed as financial players digest the news out of the White House and the Fed. Bonds are down, pushing the 10-year interest rate up 4.29%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive. Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance protects the cars, trucks, and vans that work to keep small businesses moving forward, including protection while running errands and other tasks. More at progressivecommercial.com. And by Schwab. Schwab knows that investors want control of their financial future. That's why when it comes to wealth management, Schwab is dedicated to giving investors more choices. More at schwab.com.
Now, beyond our top story about central bank independence and a Trump move to fire a Fed governor, there's actual Federal Reserve policy, which seems on course to lower interest rates slightly 3 weeks from tomorrow. That was the indication from a big central bank symposium the other day. Lower rates will be welcomed by people looking to buy a house. But here's the thing. The Fed doesn't directly control mortgage rates. Here's Marketplace's Matt Levin.
The Fed controls the federal funds rate, the short-term interest rate banks charge each other for overnight loans. It does not control the interest rate paid on longer-term government debt, like the 10-year Treasury note.
And the mortgage rates are affected much more by the 10-year interest rates than like the very short-term interest rates.
Amir Kermani is a real estate professor at UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business. He says Fed rate cuts do put downward pressure on longer-term rates, but investor worries about America's ability to pay that debt in the future can keep those rates elevated.
Unless we have some reaction in those longer-term interest rates, the mortgage rates perhaps are going to stay where they are.
Mortgage rates are also an expectation game. Economist Kara Ng at Zillow says because the Fed has been hinting at easing monetary policy for a little while now, mortgage rates already partially reflect that.
A lot of that information on what the Fed's going to do in September is already priced in. So just because the Fed is likely going to cut interest rates in their September meeting does not mean the mortgage rate is going to fall.
Ng says even if mortgage rates do drop in the future, it's no guarantee the frozen housing market will defrost. Prices are still high and broader economic uncertainty is sidelining many buyers. I'm Matt Levin for Marketplace.
And I'm David Brancaccio. You're listening to the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.